الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, it brings joy to the heart to introduce our brother Abdis Salaam Siddeeq al-Juyaanee. And for those who are unaware of our brother, he is the Imam of Masjid al-Bukhari in Riviera Beach, Florida. And he has been the Imam there since its inception, walillah alhamd. He's also a translator. He does a lot of translating for the scholars live and as it relates to books and audios. Likewise, our brother is the webmaster or owner of the website Salafi Inc. That's Salafy Inc. I-N-K. So the brother is one of the brothers that's one of the students of knowledge that's very busy and trying to bring clarity in affairs of the religion to the people here in the States. And so we welcome his visit, as his visit to us is in accordance with the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He stated, "Inna rajulan zara akhan lahu fi qaryatin ukhra, فأرسل له الله تبارك وتعالى على مدرجته ملكا." That a man, or indeed a man, visited a brother of his in another village. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala sat on his pathway as he was going to visit his brother, an angel. When he came upon this angel, the angel said to him, "Aina turid?" Where do you desire or want? So the man said, "Uridu akhan li fi hadhihi al-qarya." I desire my brother in this particular village. The angel then said to this man, "Hal laka alayhi min ni'matin tarubbuha?" Is there some favor that you've done for him that you're expecting a recompense for? The man responded, "La ghayra anni uhibbu fillah." He said, "No, there's no other reason except for the fact that I love him for the sake of Allah." The angel responds, "Inni Rasulullah ilaykum bi anna Allah ahabbaka bima ahbabtahu fih." He stated that I am Allah's messenger to you to inform you that indeed Allah loves you, like you love this man for Allah wa ta'ala's sake. So this is the reality of the visit of our brother today. He's not coming for some type of worldly gain. He's not being paid to give this talk. But he's coming out of love for his brothers, to see his brothers and sisters upon clarity as it relates to this religion and the affairs contained therein. And this is in reality aiding upon al-birr wa taqwa as we are commanded to do. As Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala states, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. So aid upon righteousness and fear of Allah, and do not aid upon sin and transgression. So it is hoped that this particular setting by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is from amongst the blessed settings that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, or that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam referred to when he said, "Majtama'a qawmun fi baytin min buyutillah يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة وذكر الله في من عنده." The Prophet ﷺ states, no group of people gather in a house from the homes of Allah, yani the masajid, reciting the book of Allah and teaching it to one another, except that the tranquility descends, that they become enveloped in mercy, the angels surround them, and Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentions them with those that are with him in lofty gatherings. So it is hoped that these particular gatherings, or this particular gathering, is from amongst those in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam described in this particular narration. And it is not my attempt to prolong this, so without further ado, I turn the mic over to our brother. وَفَّقَكُمُ اللَّهُ جَمِيعًا.
لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أما بعد، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. ثم أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد، بإذن الله تعالى, we would like to continue with the theme of the khutbah, and that is by going over al-istiqamah and those things that will help us to be upright inside of the Deen. And this is of extreme importance, and I want you to keep in mind a tremendous hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that bi'idhnillahi ta'ala we will get into more later, not in this sitting, but bi'idhnillahi ta'ala in the next sitting, because it illustrates to us the extremely perilous time in which we live in. That we live in, bila shak wa bila rayb, a time of turmoil. As the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, يأتي على الناس زمان القابض فيه على دينه كالقابض على الجمر. That there will come upon mankind a time where the one who holds on to his religion therein will be like the one who holds on to hot coals. Will be like the one who holds on to hot coals. So bila shak wa bila rayb, in times such as that, in times such as this, it makes being upright upon the Deen difficult. It requires that an individual, he puts forth a great amount of effort. So we would like to look at what are some of those things that will help us to be upright upon the religion, and what are some of those things that are required in order for us to be upright upon the religion. And I want to stress the word some, because we won't have the time to get into all of them, but we want to cover some of them, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and some of the greater and most important aspects from amongst them. But before doing that, let us look and let us examine what are some of those things that will help us into being upright upon the religion. What are some of those things that will help and aid us to be upright upon the Deen of al-Islam? And from those things that will help and aid us into being upright upon the religion is that we have to be of those who earnestly seek knowledge. We have to be of those who earnestly seek to learn about the Deen of al-Islam. This is incumbent, it is required. As the great Imam Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab rahmatullah alayhi mentions, اعلم رحمك الله أنه يجب علينا تعلم أربع مسائل. He said, and know, may Allah have mercy upon you, that it is incumbent upon us that we learn four affairs. Al-ula al-ilm. The first of it is knowledge. The first of it is knowledge. Al-ilm. وهو معرفة الله ومعرفة نبيه ومعرفة دين الإسلام الأدلة. The first is knowledge, and that is to have knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have knowledge about His Messenger, His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and to have knowledge about the religion of Islam with proofs and evidences. Now, this is incumbent. Knowledge is important. It is incumbent. Because as the saying it goes, the ulama they mentioned, كيف تؤمن بشيء تجهله? How can you believe in something that you're ignorant about? وكيف تقيم بالشيء تجهله? And how can you establish something that you're ignorant about? It won't be possible to establish it. It won't be possible to act in accordance to it. It won't be possible to believe correctly in it if you don't even know what it is to begin with. So knowledge is of extreme importance. But as mentioned, that knowledge has to be coupled with other aspects. Now, it has to be implemented. So the Imam goes on to say, الثانية الدعوة إليه. الثانية العمل به. Secondly, acting in accordance to it. We have to act in accordance to what we know. If we don't act in accordance to what we know, then what we know will not benefit us. Now, then what we know, it will not benefit us. الثالثة, third, الدعوة إليه. That we call to it, we invite others to it. We invite others to it, we give them da'wah. Now, ورابعا, and lastly, الصبر على أذافين, that we are patient with the harms that will come therein. And this patience, it is required not just in giving da'wah, not just in the harms that a person will receive when giving da'wah and calling to that which is correct, but that patience is required at every step. It is required when one is seeking knowledge. Because if one is patient when seeking knowledge, then this will help and aid him to be patient in implementing that knowledge. And it will help him or her to be patient in the dissemination of that knowledge. Whereas, if one is not patient when they are seeking the knowledge, then they won't be patient to implement, nor will they be patient to call to it. So it is incumbent that we are patient, and that patience accompanies all of these levels. What is the proof? Remember, if anyone speaks about the Deen of Islam, they have to speak from proof. It is not for us to say what we think, what we want, what we feel. No. But we have to have proof. Proof from the Kitab, proof from the Sunnah, proof from the Ijma', the Salaf, and the like. We have to have proof. Now, so what's the proof of this? What's the proof that these four aspects are the equation of success? The proof is, as the Imam mentions, with Deen, قوله تعالى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. He says that the proof is Allah Ta'ala's statement. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What translated means about the token of time, or about time. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Verily, most definitely, mankind is in a state of loss. Verily, most definitely, mankind is in a state of loss. إِلَّا, except who? إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except for those who believe. Now, but those who believe, that belief has to be based upon what? Knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. And know, have knowledge, that none has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. Now, so we have to have knowledge. So knowledge comes first. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. And the iman is built upon what knowledge? The true belief is built upon knowledge. Wait. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. And they do righteous good deeds. وَعَمَلُوا بِهِ. And acting in accordance to it. Now, وتواصوا بالحق, and they encourage one another with the truth. They encourage one another with the truth, with da'wah to elate, and they call to it, وتواصوا بالصبر. And they encourage one another with patience. الصبر على أدافين. See, and being patient upon the harms that come their way. So it is incumbent and it is a must that we accompany our life with the seeking of knowledge. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم. That seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim. Every Muslim. Meaning seeking the knowledge of those things which are an individual responsibility. It is wajib. Now, so when it comes to the creed, when it comes to the aqidah, the belief, then every individual Muslim has to know this for themselves. Now, every individual Muslim has to know this for themselves, and it is, or it should be, their prerogative to study it. It should be a priority for them to learn how to properly believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how to properly believe in His angels, how to properly believe in His books, how to properly believe in His messengers, how to properly believe in the Day of Judgment, how to properly believe in al-qadr, khayri wa sharri. Now, it behooves the individual, if you want to be successful, they have to learn. They have to know what is their belief, their proper belief in Jannah, their proper belief in the hellfire, their proper belief. They have to learn it. Now, and that proper belief, and we're going to come back to this bidnillahi ta'ala, it is that belief that the Prophet ﷺ and his companions were upon. Now, just like the proper methodology is that methodology in which the Prophet ﷺ and his companions were upon. Just like the proper mode of conduct, the proper akhlaq or suluk is that proper mode of conduct and character that the Prophet ﷺ and his companions were upon. Just like the proper way of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the proper ibadah or ibadat, and how we perform them, then it is that in which the Prophet ﷺ and his companions were upon. Now, and this is without doubt. In any event, that which will aid and help us, that's what will aid and help us when it comes to learning, is one, we have to take things step by step. We have to take things step by step, and we have to start with that which is important, and then to go to that which follows it in importance. We have to prioritize. Prioritizing is very important. Now, it's vital. And knowing how to prioritize and what to prioritize with is also very vital. It is like, for example, if an individual is wanting, as relates to their knowledge of triage, it will be very dangerous to the patients. If a person comes in, he has some slight lacerations upon his arms and his legs, right? But his heart has stopped, for example. He goes into defib. The person who doesn't understand about prioritization, they will try to suture the lacerations. It's not time to suture the lacerations right now. Why? Because he has them. So we have to prioritize. The poet, he mentioned, as ulama they mentioned, the poet, he said, العلم إن طلبته طويل وعمرك لتحصيله قصير فقد منه بالأهم فالأهم. That knowledge, if you're going to seek it, then it's long. The road of it is long. It's a lot. You're never going to get it all. And the lifespan in which you've been given to get something from it is short. So therefore, start with that which is most important, then go to that which follows it in importance. Now, go to that which is most important, and then go to that which follows in importance. And without doubt, that which is most important is at-tawheed. At-tawheed. Now, wait. We have to prioritize. Another poet, he said, because prioritizing and being consistent and taking things step by step, it will happen not within hours, not within days, but over the course of many days, many weeks, many months, many years. Not all at once. Whoever tries to take knowledge all at once, it goes away from him all at once. Now, goes away from him all at once. The poet, he said, اليوم العلم وغدا مثله ومن نخبة العلم التي تلتقط يحصل به المرء حكمة وإنما السير اجتماع النقط. He said that today is knowledge and tomorrow is light. Today is knowledge and tomorrow is knowledge. And from the fruits in which one he will pick from the knowledge, the fruits that one will gain from knowledge, is that by way of it, an individual, he will attain wisdom. Because verily, the stream, or more correctly, like the flash flood, right, comprises of drops, raindrops. Now, comprises of raindrops. One drop by itself, a person may deem it insignificant. But when you add all of those drops together, then they become quite significant. Now, they become a lot. They lead to flash floods. Right? It's like the straw. We all know the saying, correct? The straw that what? Broke the camel's back. Correct? Wait, how can a straw break a camel's back? Except that under that straw are what? Many other straws. And that was just the last straw in the pile. So one straw by itself is, the person says, it's insignificant. How hard is it to get one straw? Not very hard. But you start adding straws, 1,000 straws, 2,000, 3,000, a million straws, then, this is it. Broke the camel's back. But this is very important. Never deem anything as being insignificant. Now, the ulama, they mentioned, even if you memorize one verse from the Quran a day, one ayah a day, is that hard? No. Right? 24 hours in a day, correct? One ayah. Even if it took you, which is, an hour to do one verse, how many other hours you got left in a day to do other things? 23 hours. That's a long time, correct? But if you memorized one verse a day and you were consistent upon that, there will come a day when you have memorized all the verses, correct? So now let us look, us with the grades, right? How long we've been alive? How many hours we've been alive? How many days? You see? Small efforts with consistency leads to a lot. There's a saying they used to always tell us when we were studying. Al-Qaleel, Istimrar, Khayr min Kathir, Yamqati'. That a little bit with consistency is better than a lot that gets cut off. A lot that gets stopped, that gets severed. Now, so this is important. Also, it's important that we try our best to memorize as much as we can. The ulama, they mentioned the famous statement, احفظ فإن كل حافظ إمام. And memorize, because everyone who's a great memorizer is an imam. Everyone who's a great memorizer is an imam. As you find all of the imams in the Deen, one of the things that they all have in common is that they memorize a lot. They're great memorizers. Now, and memorizing is important because when you memorize, your knowledge is with you. Wherever you may go is with you. Now, as Imam Shafi'i, he mentioned, علمي معي حيثما توجهت ينفعني. That my knowledge is with me. Wherever I turn, it benefits me. Now, my knowledge is with me. Wherever I turn, it benefits me. قلبي واعٍ له لا بطن صدوقي. My heart is the vessel that contains it, not the inside of boxes, or not the boxes that carry books. Now, my heart contains the knowledge. فإذا كنت في البيت فعلمي معي في البيت. And if I'm in the house, then my knowledge with me in the house. وإذا كنت في سوقي فعلمي في سوقي. And if I'm in the marketplace, my knowledge is in the marketplace. You see, that's the benefit of memorizing. It's always with you. Your knowledge is there to benefit you. Wherever you are is there. You have it. You have access to it. Another poet, he said, إذا لم تكن حافظا واعيا فجمعك للعلم لا ينفع. أتحضر بالجهل في مجلس وعلمك في الكتب مستودع. He said that if you're not one who memorizes, if you're not one who safeguards your knowledge by memorizing, he said that your collection of knowledge will not benefit you. He said, do you present yourself inside of the garden with your ignorance while your knowledge is safely tucked away in books? See? So these are things that help and they aid and they assist in being upright upon the Deen. Because if you find that a person busies themselves, so this is just from a practical standpoint, if you find that a person busies themselves with good, busying themselves with reading the Quran, memorizing the Quran, memorizing from the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, memorizing the adhkar, the supplications, reading the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, reading through the books of fiqh so they know how to do this and how to do that from the ibadat and so on and so forth. If they busy their time with doing good, praying, making voluntary prayer, giving charity, so on and so forth, they busy themselves with good. When do they have time to do bad? When do they have time to do evil? If they busy themselves with the company of good people, when do they have time to be around those who would influence them in a negative manner? You understand? So busying ourselves with good is important. It's important because the more we busy ourselves with good, the more we don't have time for wrong. Now, the more we don't have time for wrong. And undoubtedly, that helps with what? Being upright. That helps with being upright. Now, ala kulli hal. Let us come back now to some of what we didn't get an opportunity to mention inside of the khutbah. Because when it comes to being upright in the Deen, we mentioned that it is not just a statement. A person just brings lip service. Now, but it has to be coupled with what? With action. With action. And this is a concept that we respect when it comes to the dunya. But how come now when it comes to the Deen we act like it's a whole other ballgame? This is a problem that exists amongst people for whatever reason. We have a whole other set of standards when it comes to the Deen that are lower and subpar to those standards that we have in dunya. I'll give you an example. When it comes to the Deen and YouTube is a perfect platform for the likes of this and a perfect example of this. When it comes to the Deen, you find everybody come and go, you find them talking about the Deen. Now, everybody come talking about the Deen. No knowledge with him. You understand? No knowledge with a lot of these people. It reminds me, there's some poetry from the Arab, from the about this fact of individuals who claim to have ilm, but they ain't really got no ilm. They said, أتانا من الأعراب قوما تفقهوا وليس لهم فقه قبل ولا بعد يقولون هذا عندنا غير جائز ومن أنت حتى تقول ما عنده. They said they came to us from the desert Arabs, right, from the Bedouins, of people who said they had understanding of the religion. He said, but the reality was they didn't have understanding of the religion. Not before they came to us, nor after they reached us. They will say, this thing with us is not permissible. He said, but who are you to say what you got with you? You understand? Individuals, they have no knowledge of the religion, yet they talk about the religion. We accept this, wallahu musta'an, when it comes to the Deen. Correct? You have a problem with your car. You gonna let just anybody get under your hood? Huh? It's not rhetorical, would you? No? I don't know about cars. Your car breaks down, you let me just start knocking around and tampering stuff? This hose looks funny to me. Maybe you should take it off. I don't think you need that. What are these things? I don't know what they is. You need to get rid of that. Right? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. You're gonna mess up my car. Get out of here. Right? Your computer breaks down or whatever. You gonna let anybody touch it? Right? Maybe computers a little dated. I don't know. People are not really big on computers no more. Your phone breaks down. Something happened to your phone. You gonna let me start going in there, popping your screen off and doing this and doing that and touching this, touching that? You gonna let me do that? No way. No way. Why? Because I don't know about that. You're gonna take it as someone who knows about it. You're gonna have him deal with it. He's an expert. Now, just like you don't go to a dentist when you have heart problems. And likewise, you don't go to a cardiologist because you need your wisdom tooth removed. It doesn't work. Because that's not his specialty. That's not his, you don't have aim in that affair. So you won't respect him to do it. You definitely won't respect him to talk about it because you know what you know about that. That's not what you said. You're an engineer. What are you doing talking about, whatever. Right? So we have to treat our Deen with more respect because it is vital for us. You understand? It's of extreme importance. So we have to treat our Deen with more respect, and we have to hold on to that which is correct. So in any event, it's not about lip service, but you have to bring actions as it relates to it. The Shaykh Fawzan, ta'ala, he brings Allah Ta'ala's statement. I want you to reflect upon this. This is Allah Ta'ala's statement as it comes to Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah Ta'ala says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. And from mankind, there are those who say, we believe in Allah on the last day. Allah Ta'ala says, but they're not really believers. Now, this ayah is about the hypocrites. It's about the hypocrites. This is well known. Those who say they believe with their mouths, but in their hearts, they don't believe. Right? Those who say they believe with their mouths, but in their hearts, they don't believe. Those who even do the actions of belief. They pray, they fight in jihad, they make hajj, so on and so forth, but in their heart, they don't believe. Allah Ta'ala says they're not true believers. Now, they're not true believers. So we understand this from this ayah as it comes in this full context, because these are individuals who they think they can fool Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala says, يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ. It says that they seek, what translated means, they seek to deceive Allah and those who believe, yet they only deceive themselves while they perceive it not. They're only fooling themselves. They're not fooling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're only fooling themselves, but they don't perceive it. Now, this is about the hypocrites. This is about the hypocrites. But I want you to look at how the Shaykh reflected upon this particular verse. The Shaykh mentions, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. And from mankind are those who say they believe in Allah and the last day, but they do not really believe. The Shaykh says, لَا يَسْتَقِيمُونَ عَلَى الْقَوْلِ. These are people who are not upright in their statement. You with me? These are people who are not upright in their statement. Why? Because they make a statement that they are not true to. They're saying things that's incorrect. It's a lie. They don't believe it. They're not truthful. They're not sincere in their statement. They're not upright in their statement. So one of the takeaways that we get from this is that what? In order for an individual to be upright is that they have to be upright in their statements. They have to be upright where? In their statements. They have to be true to what they say. This is so important, is it not? And this is a very vital and key aspect of being upright upon the Deen. The Shaykh says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ, commenting on Allah Ta'ala's statement, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ. And from mankind there are those who say we believe in Allah. The Shaykh, he says, ثُمَّ يُشْرِكُ بِاللَّهِ. But then they commit shirk with Allah. We have those who say they believe in Allah, but then what do? They commit shirk. So this is an indication that these individuals that what? They don't truly believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, in reality, they don't truly believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because they're making shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَدْعُوا غَيْرَ اللَّهِ. They call upon other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَذْبَحُوا لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ. They slaughter and sacrifice for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these individuals, what? They don't believe in Allah ta'ala. وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. They don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Shaykh, he mentions that also you have individuals who say that they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the last day. But unlike these ones who they don't establish Tawheed, they are not upright upon Tawheed. These ones who are not upright upon Tawheed, because in order to be upright, a person has to be upon Tawheed. Now, bila shak, and we're going to come back to this more. They have to be upright upon it, Tawheed. He said, but you have from mankind those who say, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَلَيْسَ عِنْدَهُمْ شِرْكٌ وَلَكِنْ يَكُونْ عِنْدَهُ تَسَاهُلٌ فِي الْعِبَادَاتِ وَالتَّسَاهُلُ فِي أَدَاءِ الْفَرَائِضِ وَالطَّاعَاتِ وَيَكْثَرُ مِنَ الْمَعَاصِي فَهَذَا لَيْسَ مُسْتَقِيمًا. He says, and they're from mankind those who say, we believe in Allah, but these ones, they don't make shirk. They don't associate partners with Allah in worship. However, they are neglectful when it comes to worship. They are neglectful when it comes to the act of worship. They are neglectful and lazy when it comes to performing the obligatory obligations and the obligatory affairs. They are neglectful when it comes to the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these are individuals who have much sins with them. So therefore what? This one is not one who is upright. This one is not one who is upright. Do you see the components that are mentioned and how they are connected to being upright? A person who says they believe but they don't really believe can never be upright. A person who says they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yet they are emerged in shirk, in polytheism, they can never be upright. Now, likewise, a person who avoided the first trap and the second trap, yet they are individuals who are lazy when it comes to worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, individuals who are lazy when it comes to performing the obligatory actions, individuals who have a great multitude amount of sin with them, then these are individuals who what? Are not upright. So to be upright, we have to strive to avoid those things in which were mentioned. To be upright, we have to be upon those who what? Who are upright in their statements and upright in their actions. Those who have beneficial knowledge and they act in accordance to that knowledge. This is of extreme importance. Now, that we have to have beneficial knowledge that we act upon. That Deen al-Haq. That he is the one who has sent his messenger with huda. The ulama, they say, huda huwa ilmun nafi'. That guidance here, what it means is beneficial knowledge. What Deen al-Haq and the true religion, what it means here is amal salih, righteous good deeds. So we have to have beneficial knowledge and righteous good deeds. Just to have the knowledge and yet we don't act upon it, yet we don't bring forth the righteous good deeds and implement what we know, it will not benefit us. Even though it may benefit others, it won't benefit us. Now, as Imam al-Bani rahmatullahi alayhi, he mentions the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, العالم الذي لا يعمل بعلمه العالم الذي لا يعمل بعلمه كالمصباح يضيء للناس ويحرق نفسه. That the scholar who does not act in accordance to his knowledge is like the lantern. You know, the oil lantern or the kerosene lantern that has a wick, right? Right? Those lanterns are really bright too. I don't know if you had, if anyone has had experience with them, but they're bright. They put off some nice light. Not like a light bulb, but some nice light. In the event, what happens to that wick? It burns. Correct? Right? The brothers who studied in Egypt, Yemen, stuff like this, right? The lights go off, especially in the villages, things like that. Put on a lantern. But every once in a while, what do you got to do? You got to buy another wick. Put a lantern, it burns away. This is the similitude of the scholar who doesn't act in accordance to his knowledge, like a kerosene lantern or that oil-based lantern, where it gives off light, but it destroys itself. The wick gives off light while it destroys itself. Now, so it is incumbent that we act in accordance to what we know. It is incumbent that we do this. Now, and it makes sense that we do this. Why? Because we ask for this in every rak'ah of every prayer. So why won't we do it? In fact, not to do it will be looked at as if it is insanity. Let me give you an example. If I ask you repeatedly, brother, can I have a cup of water? 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 And then you bring me a cup of water. I look at it, and I go back to asking, brother, can I have a cup of water? Brother, can I have a cup of water? You're going to say, it's right there, drink it, what are you doing? Okay. Brother, can I have a cup of water? You're going to say, this man is crazy. What's wrong with you? You're asking for a cup of water. It's right there. You're not taking advantage of it. Why do you keep asking? What do you keep asking me for? What's wrong with you? Correct? But we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every rak'ah of every prayer something. And then what we go against it. Wow, we're not trying to implement it? What's wrong with us? I mean, of course, I'm talking to me first and foremost. I want to say, man, this guy come down here and start telling me what's wrong with us, man. This happened. Now I'm talking to myself first and foremost. If it's applicable to you too, then you can benefit from that. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala أوجب علينا قراءة الفاتحة في كل ركعة. Allah ta'ala made it obligatory upon us that we recite Surah Al-Fatiha in every rak'ah. Surah Al-Fatiha, this is incumbent and vital and of extreme importance that we know what it means. Right? Even if it's just the translation. It is a test. I want you to go home and test your children. Test your wife and wives. Test your husband. Say, hey, Habib, just give me the translation of Surah Al-Fatiha. That's it. What's the translation? Ayah for ayah, line for line. What does it mean? Recite it all the time, but you know what it means. Correct? Recite it all the time. You should know what it means. Okay? So I want you to ask me. Now I want you to test yourself. Sit there and say, do you know? Because it's important. It's been legislated upon us to recite in every rak'ah because it's extremely important. And if we find that our salah is not affecting us the way it should affect us, then this is part and parcel of the reason. How are you going to have khushu' inside your salah and reflect? And you don't even know what you're saying. Just sounds. It's words, but you don't know what it means. How's it going to affect you? How's it going to change you? How is it going to motivate you, change your life? Allah Ta'ala, He tells us, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. That verily the salah, it prevents from indecency and sin. If you find that your salah is not preventing you from indecency and sin, is because what? You're not praying correctly. Whether that is in the mannerism or the mechanics of the prayer, or whether that is in no khushu', because your mechanics can be spot on. But if the khushu' is not there, if you're praying and the mechanics is spot on, but your brain is elsewhere, what are you going to benefit? standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but your mind is still what you need to buy from the marketplace. Your mind is still on what's going on at work. Your mind is still on whatever from the things of the dunya. And you're standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Obviously, that's not from the equation of what it means to be upright. Right? But in any event, if we find that our prayer is not changing us the way it should be changing us, then there's some issues. In any event, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to make dua, supplicate unto Him every rak'ah of every prayer with that which comes inside Surah Al-Fatiha. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. That straight path. Now, what is that straight path? Sirat al-ladina an'amta alayhim. The path of those whom you have bestowed your favor upon. The path of those whom you have bestowed your favor upon. Who are those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed His favor upon? Who are they? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in another ayah who they are. Allah ta'ala says, وَمَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ, and whoever obeys Allah and the Messenger. So obedience to Allah, obedience to the Messenger, vital. Allah ta'ala says, فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. Then these are the ones who are with those whom Allah has bestowed His favor upon. مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ وَالصِّدِّيقِينَ وَالشُّهَدَاءِ وَالصَّالِحِينَ. From the prophets, from those who are sincere and truthful, from the martyrs, and from the righteous. وَحَسُنَ أُولَٰئِكَ رَفِيقًا. And what a most excellent of companions are they. Now, the prophets, those who are sincere, the martyrs, the righteous, what do they have in common? They combine what? Knowledge and action. They combine knowledge and action. So, from this verse, we see this, that in order to be upright, because remember we asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ihdina, guide us. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. The path of those who are upright. Their point is istiqamah. Their point is istiqamah in the Deen. Guide us to the straight path. The path of those whom you bestowed your favor upon. Those who the favor bestowed upon them are those who they come with righteous, beneficial knowledge and righteous good deeds. Now, they combine between beneficial knowledge and righteous good deeds. And what highlights that comes, when you look at the context, and it's important that you understand the context. What highlights this concept and what highlights this reality is when you look at those whom we ask not to be from. Because those who we ask not to be from, they are those who are neglecting one of these two things, meaning neglecting either beneficial knowledge or righteous good deeds. Now, there's some discrepancy there, it's gone, it's missing. And who are they? Not those who the anger is upon them. Not those who the anger is upon them. Who are those who the anger is upon? Person who come and say, Yahoo, Jews. Right? That's true, it's the Jews. But it's not just the Jews. It's the Jews and those who are like them. Those who act like they act. It means them too. Now, but the Jews, who are they? They are those, or they mentioned. الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْمَلُونَ بِعِلْمِهِمْ. They are those who don't act in accordance to their knowledge. So they got knowledge that's beneficial, but it don't benefit them because they don't act in accordance to it. So Allah's angry with them. Allah's angry with them. But وَلَا nor those who are astray. Who are those who are astray? The Nasara, Christians. Just the Christians? And those who act like them. Right? And those who act like them. You see? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this to us so we know what not to do. You see, that's the beauty of the Deen of Islam, is that it's detailed. The da'wah of Islam is detailed. It's not a general da'wah. You understand? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, worship Allah alone, right? Does He stop there? No. Then He adds to it, and don't associate partners with Him. Now, I'm going to translate it means. It's detailed. So, we ask to be from those who combine beneficial knowledge and righteous action, those who are upright in their speech and they're upright in their action. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to make us of those who don't act in accordance to what they know, nor of those who are astray. Who are those who are astray? The Nasara. And who? Those who are like them. What's their deal? What's their deal? These are those الَّذِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ عَلَى غَيْرِ الطَّرِيقِ الصَّحِيحِ. These are those who act upon a path that's not correct. Why? مَا عِنْدَهُ عِلْمٍ. Because they don't have any knowledge. They just be doing stuff without knowledge. Now, so they come with actions, but it's not based upon ilm. It's not based upon ilm. Now, a person, he may come and he say, but okay, but you. That's the Nasara. How is that a danger for the Muslims? How is that a danger for the Muslims? What is ilm? Ilm? قال الله قال رسول الله قال الصحابة. Allah said, the messenger of Allah said, the Sahaba said, that's ilm. Right? Ilm, Deen, proofs, evidences. A person has proofs and evidences. But an individual comes. He has on an aerodynamic cloak or outfit. I don't know what kind of outfit. I don't know about the thing. But he got an aerodynamic outfit. He come in the middle of the floor, starts spinning around. And then he say, this is ibadah. This is worship. Right? Worship based on what? How? Okay. How was that worship? Who said that was worship? Did the Prophet ﷺ spin around and say this was ibadah? The Sahaba, they spun around and said that was ibadah? Do you have a proof, a textual proof and evidence from the Quran, from the Sunnah, that this is worship? Did anyone from the companions understand that to be worship? But yet he deemed it as being worship. And at the same time he said he's a Muslim. Right? Because you got Muslims who do stuff they shouldn't be doing. Correct? Yeah. You have Muslims who do something that they shouldn't be doing. So this individual, in this instance, is he not doing things that's based upon ignorance? Doing things without knowledge? Yes, he's doing things without knowledge. When a person brings forth an act of worship that does not have for it a Deen, or he brings forth a belief that does not have it for it a Deen, then this is similar to what the Christians have done by doing actions of worship or doing actions that are connected to the religion without knowledge. Now, so why is it applicable to us? Because doing such is not what it means to be upright. Doing such is the epitome of making no sense, because we asked not to be like that and then we're going to be like that, right? Doing such is totally dangerous. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha ma laysa minhu fahuwa raddun." Whoever introduces into this affair of ours that which is not from it is rejected. Like, person he come and say, I didn't invent it, I'm just doing it. Like, the Prophet ﷺ, he addressed you to. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man amila laysa alayhi amruna fahuwa raddun." Whoever does an action that does not have on it our affair is rejected. These individuals who do the likes of these actions, what do they come with? They come with what is called bid'ah, innovation. Innovation is dangerous. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, كل محدثة بدعة وَكُلَّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ وَكُلَّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. That every newly invented matter is a bid'ah. Every bid'ah is a going astray, every going astray is in the fire. Every going astray is in the fire. Now, wait. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said in the hadith of iftira, وَسَتَرِكُ أُمَّتِي عَلَى 73 فِرْقًا كُلُّهَا فِي النَّارِ إِلَّا وَاحِدًا وَقِيلَ وَمَنْ هِيَ تِلْكَ فِرْقَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ قَالَ مَا أَنَا عَلَيْهِ الْيَوْمَ وَأَصْحَابِي. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said in the famous hadith of iftira, that my ummah was split and divided into 73 different sects. All of them will be in the fire except for one. All of them in the fire except for one. So it was said, which is that one, O Messenger of Allah? He said, that which I and my companions are upon. That which I and my companions are upon. Now, so it is incumbent for the one who wants to be upright upon the deen is that he has to look to see that which the Prophet ﷺ and the companions were upon. Anything that comes and is outside of that, is contrary to that, that is foreign to that, then we reject it. Why? Because we know that's not from the deen. That's not from the deen. Now, we reject it because it's bid'ah. We don't want it to do it. It's not from the deen. We reject it. Why? Because taking to it is what? It's acting like how the Christians did. By doing things that's not based upon knowledge. Now, so if you look at it from every angle, from every direction, you find this is not something that is favorable. This is not that which would lend to being upright upon the deen. It's not that which will lend to being upright upon the deen. Ala kulli hal, it is incumbent if we want to be successful that we have to strive. We have to strive to learn about our religion. We have to strive to be upright upon it, tawheed. We have to make this a priority inside of our lives. We have to make sure that our children, they know it tawheed. We have to make sure that we know it tawheed. Because in fact, the one who is deprived of something, he can't give it. Now, the one who's deprived of something, he can't give it. If you came to me and said, brother, can you give me a pen? Yes, I can give one of you a pen. Somebody else stand up and said, brother, can you give me a pen? No, because I gave him my pen. I got no more pens. Right? Why? Because once I'm deprived, I can't give it. Can't give you what I don't got. Correct? So if we ourselves, we don't know and we need to know, then how are we going to teach our children? So it is incumbent, this is another question you can ask your children and test them on, and ask your spouse and test each other and test yourself. Do we know the meaning of La ilaha illallah? Do we know it with proofs and evidences? Do we know the conditions of La ilaha illallah? Do we know that was necessitated by La ilaha illallah? Do we know the pillars of La ilaha illallah? This is important. More important to us than knowing our names. More important to us than knowing our ages. More important to us than knowing our addresses. More important to us than knowing the passwords for our many devices. Now, it's incumbent. We should know this with ease. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us this is the reason why He created mankind, was to establish tawheed. Now, Allah ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I did not create the jinn nor the mankind except for them to worship me. يُوَحِدُونِ, to worship me alone. Human beings, do they live in a vacuum? Huh? The jinn, they live in a vacuum? No. Do we live in a vacuum? No, right? We live where? On earth. Wait. Earth is where? Earth is by itself? No, Earth is in the universe, in the galaxy, in the universe, whatever it is, right? But Allah created the creation so that Tawheed could be established. You understand? Created the creation so that Tawheed could be established. So that goal is a goal that is tremendous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the creation and everything that is in it, from the sun, the moon, and this to that, everything that benefits us. Right? Gravity, correct? Sends down the rain, vegetation they come, fruit, juice, everything. So that Tawheed can be established. So therefore, learning what Tawheed is so that we may implement it and establish it is the greatest life goal. The greatest. The greatest. Now, so much so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنْ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. And we have sent to every nation a messenger saying and proclaiming, worship Allah alone and stay away from the idols. Every messenger came to the people to teach them what? Tawheed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent messengers and revealed books so that Tawheed can be established. How important is Tawheed? How important is it? It's of extreme importance. And how dangerous is shirk. So we have to learn what shirk is so that we can stay away from it if we want to be upright. Now, we have to learn what it is so we can stay away from it if we want to be upright. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, إِنَّهُ مَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةَ وَمَأْوَاهُ النَّارُ وَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ مِنْ أَنصَارٍ. That whoever associates partners with Allah in worship, then Allah will make Jannah haram for them. Their abode will be the hellfire, and you won't find for the oppressors, the transgressive criminals, any helper. You won't find for them any helper. How dangerous is shirk that it makes Jannah haram? Everybody will go to Jannah, right? Like something that makes Jannah haram for you to go to? It's dangerous. Now, it's dangerous. Those, we work, right? Work. At the end of the week, what do you expect? Get paid, right? Anybody work for free? I don't know nobody go to work for free because they just love their job like that. I don't love my job like that. You know what I mean? You want to get paid at the end of the week, right? Or at the end of the 2 weeks if you get paid bi-weekly, whatever the case is, but you want to get paid. You ain't going for free. Right? How important is our deeds? Do your deeds want to get rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, correct? Now, you want to be rewarded. You want to go to Jannah. You want Allah's reward. You want Allah's reward. Something that will make your deeds null and void, erase the reward. Is that something that's light, or is that something that's extremely dangerous? Dangerous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ وَإِلَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ لَإِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ. And verily, O Muhammad, we have revealed to you, just like we revealed to those who came before you, that if you associate partners with Allah, then verily, most definitely, undoubtedly, you will render your deeds null and void. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this, addressing the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the best of mankind, that even if he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam were to make shirk, his deeds would be null and void. Now the Prophet ﷺ, the probability of him making shirk is none. So this verse is more applicable to who? Us. The nation of the Prophet ﷺ, because what is the probability of us making shirk is probable. Yeah, that's quite possible. Correct? So we have to understand, we have to know what is the danger of a shirk and stay away from it if we want to be upright. If we want to be upright. Now, and then of course we have to follow the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We have to be upon the way of the Sahaba. Bidnillahi ta'ala, we can get more into this and we can continue bidnillahi ta'ala inside of our next sitting of those things that are needed and necessary in order to be upright upon the Deen. Those things that are needed for one to be successful. Bidnillahi ta'ala, we will get more into that. Then, فنكتفي بهذا القدر وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.